and we will call tonight's select board meeting to order, the regularly scheduled meeting. And Tor, are there any additions or changes to the agenda?
Nope.
Any public comment? None. Hearing none, we'll move on. And next on the agenda is setting the 2025 tax rate. Starting with a discussion thereof.
Okay, we got the final grand list values from the listers, which I included, well, it's in your packet and included over the weekend. The grand list went up a tiny amount. We were actually in March anticipating a slight reduction, but it did in fact go up a little bit. So figuring on our town budget of $5.6 million, which does include the full fire department budget now, which is shows increase over previous years. Special appropriations of $98,000, of course, with the fire department budget being moved from special appropriations, that is quite a bit lower than last year. Gives us a just over $5.7 million is the total revenues that we need. Looking at the revenues we'll receive, a little over $1 million, and this includes the local options tax, $34,000 from licenses and fees, $318,000 from other property taxes, pilots, and current use primarily, $33,500 in interest, $4,900 in other miscellaneous categories, $5,000 for police, $30,000 in fire department revenues, primarily coming from the leases at the 2 fire station. Education tax collection reimbursement of $14,000 and just under $162,000 in the use of reserves, and that number's lower than the projection I sent out over the weekend. So total, that comes up to a total of $1.6 million, which leads us to just under $4.1 million we need to raise through property taxes. Take that against our grand list of $5.4 million, gives us a tax rate of 0.7450, which is $1,863 on a $250,000 house. This is a reduction from last year's tax rate of 0.7647, which was $1,911 on a $250,000 house. So just about $45 cheaper this year compared to last year.
I remember you saying at the last meeting that you anticipated it likely would have a decrease from last year.
Yeah, and I don't remember what I had projected in March, but we were projecting an increase in the tax rate at that time. So the fact that it stayed the same and even dropped a little bit is good news. Of course, you know, a lot of this reduction is attributable to the local options tax, you know, which we're able to fully fund our capital program this year with it.
What was the amount, do you remember offhand? That
For
was
the
included?
options
The lot
tax,
that was included?
800 some thousand.
Was, okay.
Yeah.
I think it was a little over 825,000, if I recall
think something like
correctly,
that,
right
yeah.
in that vicinity. Any other questions?
Toward the state of Vermont revenue, does that include payment in lieu of taxes?
Payment in lieu of taxes is
Or is
actually
that in
under
taxes?
other
Oh, under
property
other?
taxes.
Oh, okay, sorry, I missed that.
So the payment in lieu of taxes is combined in the other property taxes category.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Make sure I understood. Good question.
The
Kyle.
primary drivers in the state of Vermont revenue is, railroad fee we receive, and then the winter and summer roads we receive from the state, and that's about 125,000 total combined.
Any areas folks want to delve into to discuss before we move forward?
And then the reserve piece, we're using that for, is
Just,
that carryover?
yeah,
Okay,
that's a-
that's right, carryover, okay.
That would be-
And the only reason yeah, thank you.
But that's
We're not
less than what
using-
you predicted to use or forecasted the last time, right?
correct.
So
Yeah.
correct.
you even lowered
And
that
that
some.
does not include any use of undesignated reserve funds, because between the flood and the
Yeah.
FEMA, that's all up and down.
Yeah.
So I don't really feel comfortable
Yeah, no,
digging
no.
into that category yet.
Right, no, I think that's a good idea.
This seems very positive with everything you explained and, given everything, and definitely the local options tax was quite helpful.
No, very helpful.
Mhm.
yeah.
We anticipated it would be, but it was a big surprise that it
Right.
was as much as it was.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very fortunate.
No, I'm good.
All right. Open it up for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we set this year's tax rate at 0.7450 as indicated in the tour's worksheet
I'll
and
second.
presented.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. Thank you, Tour.
I'm sick of looking at it.
Bet you are.
You'll pick it up and look at it again,
No
I bet,
doubt.
before the night is over.
No doubt.
All right, we'll move on now to the corridor management agreement for Montpelier Area
Did I s-
Mountain Bike
special event?
Association.
You skipped the special
Did
event.
I? Oh, I did. Thank you very much. Special event permit is next on the agenda. Thank you.
Yep, that's quite all right.
So we've received a,
Looks familiar. Is this a year? This is pretty much every year.
this is
isn't it?
every
Yes.
year.
Yeah.
Annually.
Yeah,
Central Vermont Runners,
Runners, yep. Around the pond.
Berlin Pond, this year being August 14th, 2025, estimating about 75 in attendance. Never had any issues with them in the past.
Always very respectful.
The only comments were, to ensure signage around the course, which, they always do.
They also always have the insurance. I'm not sure how many years they've been doing it, but it has been quite some time.
I wanna say it's like 30 some odd years or
That's
something like
amazing.
that.
I didn't even know it had been that long. And it is a 5-mile road race.
But, yeah,
Well, I will entertain a motion on this as well.
so moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right, and now on to the one that I tried to jump to, the corridor management agreement, Montpelier Area Mountain Bike Association.
So here again, this is an annual agreement we sign on behalf of the Conservation Commission for the use of the Darting Trail, Berlin Pond area for mountain biking. Again, this has been done for several years. No issues have come up, and the Conservation Commission was in favor of this, and here again, they also attach their insurance, so I recommend approval.
And here a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you very much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
And so moved. Thank you. Moving right along, we're ahead of schedule, but the next is the credit card policy update.
So we mentioned this at the last meeting, just a quick update, under part 2 card holders. The first is to add a card for the fire chief, bringing them on board. And then also to add a card for the police department for the administrative assistant. And those are the only 2 changes for this.
No changes to limits or anything like that, it's
That's
just.
correct.
Okay, very good.
Just authorizing the 2 additional card holders.
I'll allow folks time to look at it, and then if I can have a motion in a second.
I'll move to approve.
Thank you, Carla.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. And next is the approval of the warrants, and after that, we'll do the minutes.
Guess I get to do the reading tonight.
Thank you.
Payroll warrant 2526 for payroll from June 15th, 2025 to June 28th, 2025 to be paid on July 2nd, 2025 in the amount of $64,173.49. Payable warrant 25G25 with check number 25070 to 25136 in the amount of $206,369.39. Journal entries for June.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. And next would be the minutes. And that's for Monday, June 16th.
And these are updated from what was sent over the weekend. I sent them out this morning, but then make a few corrections that I saw in there.
I'm just reading through it now because I didn't see it since the changes, but looking good.
Okay.
Do you want to hear a motion?
Make a motion to accept the minutes from Monday, June 16th meeting as presented.
Thank you, Dennis.
Second?
Thank you, Carla. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. And next on the agenda is the roundtable. I'll open it up to you, Vince, first.
Just a question about, have we had any applicants for the highway position yet? Is it
Just the one that we had interviewed who took the job.
with Braintree?
We've not had
But
any
nothing-
others, so
nothing else?
let's put it back out again.
I'm glad you asked. That was the only individual that I was aware of, too.
Yeah,
Okay.
so,
Okay.
gonna repost it again or
Yeah.
get it out again and
That'll be good.
see if we can. I know it's only July, but I'm just,
Time is flying.
November's gonna come early,
I cannot
December.
believe how fast this summer is going by. That's a great question.
I
Thank you.
mean, we had actually budgeted for that person to start July 1st, so they could
come up to speed.
get up to speed on everything,
Yeah.
especially before the winter starts.
Right.
And then help them out with any other
Yeah,
duties they might need a fit person for, but.
Maybe we could spread word of mouth, too, you know.
Right.
Yeah,
And just the more that we verbally tell and ask others to pass the word, as well as advertising it, obviously.
Mhm.
But there could be
Yeah.
many people interested, just not
And
aware.
there's a lot of there's a lot of public works type jobs out there.
there
Mhm,
is,
that's
yeah,
true.
that's,
That's true.
yeah.
It's with the town highway.
Snowplow,
Right
snowplow
here.
driver, right on.
you interested?
I have a CDL, but no.
There you go.
If you know of anyone.
You're halfway there, come on.
We are gonna advertise it. Thank you.
Yeah, Tim said it's really hard to get folks now because they get paid a lot more in construction.
Oh, yeah, that's,
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of
the
openings.
competition is
recently.
brutal right now
Yeah.
for that
It's
stuff.
true.
It's,
You know, I mean, the contractor, submitted this bid, so he's having no problem finding employees.
Really?
And they're sticking with them. Usually,
Yeah.
they start and they drop off pretty quick, but
Yep.
he says they're sticking with them this
That's
year,
refreshing.
so, yeah.
Very nice.
Well, except when they could be our public works guys.
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vince. And Carla, anything for roundtable?
I just wanna mention that, the woman that complained to me about the Bartlett Hill garbage dumping, or at the bottom of Bartlett Hill, sent me a photo, there's more garbage there. I think I kinda forgot about it, I don't know if we were, Vince, you mentioned maybe talking to the chief about a camera, I don't know if.
Yeah, I
you
didn't.
wanna- yeah. And yeah,
I
we-
spaced it
yeah.
out.
Mm-hmm.
So if maybe,
I will.
if you're willing to do that, just
I
so
will.
we could, okay, so I just wanted to mention that. And then I wanted to publicly apologize for not being at the fire station transition. I completely didn't put it on my calendar.
Thank you, so did I.
And then I had a DRB meeting that night, so I was focused on that, so anyway.
I figured you both had
That's
something that
good
was going, because I
cupcakes.
knew you'd be
I
there.
really wanted to be there, I'm really sorry that I missed it.
No
but-
apology necessary.
And
Things
then-
happen.
I spaced it
Yeah.
out completely.
And then the next night, there was the Riverton meeting about another meeting about the whole issue of the,
Mhm.
whatever that project is that's going on in Riverton, I don't know what it's called.
Transit.
And I
Yeah.
wasn't able to
And
attend.
And I was leaving the next day to go to Utah, and I hadn't packed or anything, and Tony asked me to go because he had something come up, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, I can't go. So anyway, I'm sorry that I missed those meetings.
Do you know any of the outcome from the meeting in
don't.
Riverton? Because I
I
haven't
don't.
heard
I
either.
haven't
I
heard
just knew I
anything.
couldn't attend, and
I will say that from attending the planning commission meetings, I think a lot of the misconceptions have been corrected in terms of the project and what the intent was of that meeting that went so sort of awry. Because the residents were they attended both the meetings that I was at. One I was online, but I saw there was quite a few people here, and so I think that's good. But I don't know what happened at the latest meeting where people were able to go in and talk to the consultants. But speaking of the planning commission, I did attend I am attending the planning commission meetings, and the last meeting, I learned, because I hadn't been following, that the town plan needs to be revised, so they're beginning the process of revising the town plan, and it sounds like there's some different aspects to it that, that come into play, so I'm gonna continue to follow that and sort of report back.
that's
So that we'll
wonderful.
be, informed when we get to that point where we're approving it.
That's great.
And
Thank
that's it.
you. Thank you so much for your involvement. You do a lot on behalf of the town.
Oh,
You're
thanks.
appreciated. And tour?
Like Carol mentioned, Tuesday,
They all run together, don't they?
with the fire department transfer ceremony. That was very nicely attended. Flo did a great job as the MC, and
Nice.
I think everybody enjoyed it. Cupcakes were good.
Cupcakes are
It
always
was a
good.
well-attended event.
Oh,
It was,
good.
It was a
That's
lot of heart in it, I believe,
Oh,
and
good.
everyone was thrilled that was there. A lot of participation. Yes, I think it went quite well.
Oh, good.
And then the other thing I included in your packet is we've gone out to bid on the Gateway Avenue, which is now known as Berlin Mall Road, on the reconfiguration and the repaving. Bids were due today, and we had the bid opening. We received one bid for just over $1.8 million from Dale E. Percy Inc. out of Stowe. And that's the same company that's doing the, just finishing up now on the Fox Run
Fox Run.
Oh,
apartments. They're just basically doing some last pick list items, and I think paving next week or 2 weeks, and that should be just about the end of that. So, company very familiar with the area, and especially with that project. Tom's gonna, of course, the bid package was very thick.
Yeah.
So Tom and the engineer are gonna review it and see if they have any questions on it or anything like that. But
That's excellent.
just initially, that's what it came in as.
thank you.
Only one bid too. Surprised.
Yeah,
I am
that was kind of
surprised there was just
surprising.
one bid. Yeah.
Yeah, because there was 3 or 4 or 5 that went to the
Yeah, for the other
site
project.
visit,
Right.
Oh,
um,
oh,
pre-construction or
Yeah.
pre-bid.
Pre-bid meetings.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to even ask this question, but I feel like there was initially the thought that it was gonna cost $1 million. Am I way off, or did we have, did we have an estimated amount?
I would have to defer
Okay.
to Tom on
Okay.
what the amounts were on
Yeah.
there.
I mean, we know everything's gone up, but I'm just
Right.
curious, yeah. Great.
Thank you. And we do have an anticipated executive session tonight,
Yes.
correct? Okay. Can move into that. I don't see anything else on the agenda, and we didn't
Okay.
add anything additional.
I move to enter into executive session for personnel under 1 VSA 313A3 with no,
Short one tonight.
No anticipated outcome.
no.
Do you want an application on the way out?
Thank you for coming. Have a
See you
great
later. Thank
You
you.
gotta go back on the Pete now.